Hey, you guys, it's Megan from Create Your Future, and today we have Karen here. Hey, Karen, how are you?
Hi, Megan.
Hey, we are going to, before we start, let me remind you, Karen's a coach here, so definitely check out her descriptions and link below because she's amazing, knows what she's doing. And today, you guys, we had a comment in one of our last videos about something that we're going to answer today, just about knowing if a desire is meant for you, if something's meant for you, if your desire is meant for you. So we're going to kind of go through that and talk about that. So go ahead and take it away, Karen.
All right. So I think the comment was something along the lines of like, how do you know if like what you want is truly what you want, or if a person that you want is truly like the person you want, or and I guess that would apply to like if there's a job that you want, like if that, how do you know if that job is really what you want? And the truth is, it doesn't actually matter because you can manifest getting whatever you want. So if you want a person, a specific person, a specific job, a specific house, whatever specific thing that you want, you can manifest that, get it, and then you could change your mind if you wanted to. Like you can get the person, the house, the job, whatever it is, and then you can decide, you know what, maybe I want this other thing more.
Mm-hmm.
And you can manifest that, and there's not a problem. Or if there's something about it that you wanted to change, you can manifest a change in it too. Like at that point, it would be your choice because all of our desires are a promise. And if you desire something, it's for you to experience it. It's meant for you to be experienced. So you can experience something and then decide, you know what, I'd rather have that other thing. Or you can experience something and decide, you know, I'm just going to tweak this manifestation a little bit, and I want this person to be more, I don't know, more caring, or I want them to have this other job instead. Or, you know, in a job, you can decide, you know what, I would like more pay, and then you get a raise. Like you can tweak things after they come, or you can choose that you want something completely different. And there's no judgment in that. Like the universe isn't judging your desire. We don't have to judge our own desires either. It's just about what do I want, and then going towards that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's half the battle sometimes is actually, people sometimes say that, I think it's because sometimes we feel like we're selfish if we want something. I think that sometimes where it comes into, at least I've seen that with some clients and with my own life. Okay, do I really want this? What if I'm hurting somebody else? Could be, a block or something. So you also want to, start making the intention that you trust yourself now the desire is in everybody's best interest. And you're right, you can change anything at any point in time if you want to as well.
Yeah, or like I think maybe like if you manifest someone and you're in a relationship and then you decide something else, like maybe you feel bad, like, oh, but now if I leave them, like, no, you can, even if you wanted to leave that person and find someone else, you can intend that it's in the best interest of everyone, like Megan said. So it's not about what the desire is. The desire is up to you. Like we as coaches can't decide for you if you should recreate someone or manifest someone new, because that depends on what you personally want. You can decide either way based on your desire. So it's important to get clear on what your actual desire is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, having clarity and even, make an intention. I intend to be clear on my desire because you're right. We cannot, we can't make that decision if you want to manifest a new person or keep the person you have and tweak that. And there is no right or wrong. And it's up to you what you want to do, entirely up to you. And that's where our free will comes in to make a choice. What do you want to do? And there is no right or wrong.
Yeah, and then in that, I think sometimes people get nervous of like, okay, well, I have to choose this or this, this or this, and then that's my final choice. Like, no, there's no pressure for it to be your final choice because you still have a choice to make a choice after the choice comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're never stuck in anything. You can always change it or get something else. Like, and you have the choice to make a choice at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really a beautiful thing.
Absolutely, it is. And I think also what happens as you grow, because we all are evolving, through this whole entire process. And as we're working through this process and learning our limiting beliefs and seeing what people are mirroring back to us, your desires sometimes naturally change because of that, because I don't think you can actually manifest something that you're not conscious of. So let's say you're living in some conscious limiting belief of something, and then you start working through this stuff and working through your limiting beliefs and you evolve for something. Automatically your desires are going to start changing. Like for instance, if a client first comes, sometimes some people are so, and there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes people just want to text because that's all that they, from their specific person, because that's all they can be consciously aware of at that point, because that's where they kind of see themselves in the self-worth. That's their self-concept. Okay, I just want, I just deserve a text message, let's say. And then as they go through the relationship and they work on their self-concept and their specific person, their desires and things start changing because their self-concepts change. And like, wait a second, I deserve a date now. I'm worthy of a date. And so that also starts changing as your self-concept evolves as well. So it's just, that also plays into, your desires as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that nervousness or anxiety around like, is this like, do I really want this? Like that nervousness can come from sort of like settling too. Like let's say you got something and maybe it wasn't 100%, like you're not 100% happy with it, and then at that point you want to choose like if you want to change it or if you want to manifest something new. Sometimes some people can get in a space of like, well, I already got this, so like I'm comfortable with this thing that I got. Like what if I don't get that next step up? And it's like universe is limitless. Like you can get the next step up, you can get the next step up and the next 10 steps up. You can get something new, you can get something reformed completely to something different, but you don't have to settle with the first thing you get. You can get more. You're
Right.
like, it's kind of like if say that someone comes in even and they're like, my dream job is to get this thing, and then they have their dream job and then they're like, wait, I don't know, like maybe I want that other job that's up higher. Like they can get that too. And if they're in a place where they're like, well, I'm comfortable here, again, they have the choice. Like they can decide, maybe they want to manifest like earning more money at that particular job because they are comfortable and they want to stay comfortable, or maybe they want to move up. Like that's where they have that choice to make, and they can go either way. But there's no right or wrong.
No. Well, you create your reality, guys. You create the rules for yourself. The only person that's in your way is yourself. And you're the only person that's creating those limitations for yourself. And when you were talking, it kind of reminded me of a video we did, I don't know, a couple of times back when we were talking about trying it out and maybe, manifest $10. And then after you get the $10, you get that comfort, and trust in yourself. And then you go for the $20, and that's a small example, but it's kind of what we're saying. And seems like it's a small example because there's not a lot of emotion involved with $10, $20, $30, so forth. But it's the same thing. You get that and you're like, okay, you know what? I kind of think I want to manifest $20, and then
and you don't get upset retrospectively at your $10 when you get $20. You're just like, okay, I got 10, now I got 20. You don't get upset at the previous thing. So if you manifest for, say, like a version of your specific person that is texting you all the time, but you want them now to call you all the time, you don't have to get mad at the version that's texting you all the time because you manifested that. Now you can get the step up and you can get both, right? You can get the $10 and the $20. You don't got to be upset at the $10.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, so it's like, so I guess, how do you know if something's your desire? Well, I always say if it wouldn't come in your mind if you weren't supposed to have it,
Yeah. I agree. If you have it and you want to experience it, you can experience it and then decide if you still want it or if you don't at that point. Like there's no limitation to how many things we can manifest. We can manifest like 100 people, 100 jobs, just as many as you wanted to manifest. It's all down to your desire. Sometimes for the decision can be different. Like sometimes someone may want to recreate someone because they would like to keep, like maybe they've been together for a certain amount of time and their desire is to not start over. And so they would rather recreate this person. Great. And then there might be someone else that says, you know what, like I'm completely over this. Like I can get something even better and that's going to come in and they can get that too. Like both can happen for anyone. It's just a matter of what do you want in that moment. And as you grow, that may change.
Exactly. And I was thinking another example, think about your car. Okay, I remember when I first started a car, of course, there's no emotion. You're like, okay, here's my first car, excited. And then you decide, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, then you're like, oh, well, maybe I want a new car. Maybe I want something a little better. And then a couple years later, I think I want something different, something better. But you don't have that emotional tie to that. And that you manifested that. Everybody out there, you manifested. You didn't know you did it because manifesting can be so easy and effortlessly. But the thing there is you didn't question yourself on that desire. You didn't question, oh my gosh, am I being selfish? Or maybe you did, but then you decided to trust yourself and say, but I kind of really want this new car because A, B, C, and D. You could do that with something that you're emotionally tied to too, with your specific person.
Yeah, I think it's key to see things as equal, and that can help you to kind of feel more neutral about things. And yeah, because with cars, like I think, especially with cars, I think it's something that we naturally see in society that people upgraded all the time. So you're just like, oh yeah, they got a new car. But even like when you think about a home, like sometimes people may have an emotional attachment to their home of like, oh, well, this is the place I've lived in my whole entire life, and my grandparents and my great grandparents and all of that. And that's nice. Like for someone, it might be that sentimental value may be important, and they may want to stay in that home and keep manifesting improvements of that home. But then for someone else, they may be like, okay, well, no, I want something better, different, elsewhere, whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you're right, there is no right or wrong. And I keep saying that over and over again. You wouldn't have the desire if you weren't supposed to have it. You don't have to be set into anything you have forever. You can change your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to have some clarity and start maybe trusting yourself, you know, and I think that's part of the process too, is a lot of people, and, you know, I was guilty of this too, not trusting myself, you know, not trusting my emotions, not trusting my thoughts. And this is part of the process too, is observing those thoughts without judgment and then deciding and choosing what do I want.
And there doesn't have to be any fear or anxiety attached to it. Because if you want something, it's your choice if you want to keep it or change it. It's no one else's choice. So if it's your choice, then like, what's the point of worrying? Because it's all up to you.
Right. It's kind of like that last video with the shoes. You wanted these shoes at first, and then you're like, you know, I really want these in the darker color.
And that happens. Like I that happened to me with my car recently. I really wanted a specific car. I got the exact car I wanted in the exact color. And then after I was like, you know what? Like I actually want an SUV. Like it's actually really cool to have an SUV. You can fit so many things, and that's it. And now, you know what? My SUV is gonna come too, and I don't have to be upset at my current car that I also manifested.
Right, absolutely. Oh, and then we want to touch on that Chipotle thing too. You want to go ahead with that?
Yeah, go ahead. That was your manifestation.
Oh no, you go ahead. You actually, because I think you created it for me.
So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a couple videos ago we were talking about Chipotle, and I was saying how I always used to get free Chipotle, and that was one of the things that I would manifest frequently. And Megan had made a comment of like, oh, you know, I've never actually gotten free Chipotle. I want to manifest free Chipotle too. And we actually had one of our coworkers send in a chat that there was a free Chipotle day on a specific day. And at first, like, I thought she had watched our video and that's why she sent like the free Chipotle thing. But it turned out that she hadn't watched the video, even though she usually does, because that was part of the bridge of events, right? She had to not watch the video so that it could be very clear that it was our manifestation right here that we were talking about free Chipotle.
Yeah, and everybody's you pushed out. And again, there's no, I didn't question myself. Oh, do I really want Chipotle? I was like, yeah, I Chipotle, you know, and I want it for free. And then it came through and someone else sent it to everybody and thought it was her idea. But of course it wasn't her idea because everybody's you pushed out because we did the video. I put the intention out to the universe and it came back to me in a way that I would not even expect.
Yeah, and she actually mentioned that she had seen the email for the free Chipotle like in the morning, and she kept getting this nudge of like, I should send this to everyone, like maybe someone wants Chipotle. And at first she ignored it, and then she got it again, and then she sent it to everyone. And me and Megan were like, oh my God, there's free Chipotle.
Absolutely. And I think that's why we say to play around with this all the time and celebrate it. And you're going to start seeing how this just you have your desire, you have your intention, and it goes out to the universe and it comes back to you. And to celebrate that over and over again and to continue to practice this and see how it evolves and works.
Yeah, even when your desire changes, you can still be grateful for the manifestations you manifested and feel good about them and use them as proof that it's working, because even if your desire changed, you still manifested what you got. It was something you wanted at one point in time. So like with my car, at one point in time, my car was exactly what I wanted and I got it. Even if my desire changed, I can still think about how I manifested that car and how that worked. And that's going to help boost me into manifesting my next car and my next everything that I want, because I know I manifested that car. So if I could do that, I could do it again, and I could do it with other things. And I'm not, like I said, we can't be mad at our past manifestations, because we did that too, and we want to use those to boost ourselves into the next ones instead of like, what's the word, like talking them down.
Right. Hating them.
I'm thinking of this quote, and I can't think of the exact quote right now, but I'm sure someone will know it. And if you know it, post it in the comments. But there's a quote that says something along the lines of like, everything you have now is something you wanted at some point in time in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. It is because our thoughts are creating all the time. We're manifesting all the time. I mean, it's not like it stops. Sometimes people think that, well, I'm just done with manifesting. It's not working. Well, guess what? You're still manifesting. It doesn't stop. Even
Yeah,
as
and I know I've said this before, but the second you decide it's not working, that is the moment that it stopped working, because that's what you decided to create.
Mhm. You're creating the rules. So again, you do know that it's for you because you just start trusting yourself. That desire is for you. And that does not mean that you have to stay with that forever. Go with that desire, and then if you don't like it later on, you can change it, tweak it, or create something different.
We're here to experience. We're here to experience. And there's no way for you to know what you want if you don't experience what you don't want. Like, seeing what you don't want helps you to know what you want. If I see that something, like if I see this water bottle and I'm like, you know what, I actually want a white one, I'd have to see this black one to decide that I want a white one. How would I know that I want a white one if I didn't see this black one?
Absolutely.
So,
That's an amazing point. Yeah, you nailed it. That's
so
perfect.
even when we get like partial manifestations, that can help you to decide, okay, you know what, I don't want to text, I want to call, or I want a video call, you know what, I want to see this person in person. But you kind of, we're here to experience things. So just like if you manifest a desire and then you decide that you want something different, that's just showing you, it's guiding you in the direction of what you want, maybe even more.
Absolutely. And knowing you're worthy of that. Sometimes that's the biggest block, is just realizing, I'm worthy to have what I want to. And sometimes we start questioning ourselves because of that desire. It's just not feeling, trusting ourselves, or maybe not feeling worthy of it. So, also feeling worthy of that, make that an intention right now. I intend to feel worthy of my desires.
And that's a great intention. And actually, I have a bonus story for you guys, because I just manifested this weekend. Maybe I'll bring her in so you guys could see her. But I actually manifested a puppy this weekend, and think this is a good example of like this whole debate about like if something's your true desire, because I've actually wanted a second dog for a while now. I think maybe like I've been thinking about this for like maybe 6 months, right? And I will tell you that the reason this manifests sooner is because I was wishy-washy on if I wanted it or not. I wanted it, but then I would have a thought of like, well, can I handle it? Like, is it going to be too much? Like, is it going to work out? What if my dog doesn't like her? Like, what? Because I did want a girl. I decided I wanted a girl a long time ago, and I actually wanted a specific color of dog too. I wanted a black and white husky. I've been wanting a black and white husky forever, but anyway, but I kept being wishy-washy. Like, I was very wishy-washy. I admit it, and I think that's something very important too. We can look at our own thoughts, and if we admit like, hey, I was wishy-washy, I was not doing my intentions, like that's like powerful too, because then you can decide that you're gonna change that from now on you're gonna not be wishy-washy, you're gonna decide what you want, you're gonna stick with it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
anyway, so I have been wishy-washy, I admit it. And I was having a lot of thoughts as to like, oh, and I think at one point I was even between getting a puppy or getting this rescue that happened to become available, which again, that was a manifestation too, because it's actually really hard to get like rescues and adopt. Like, they have you have to jump through hoops to do paperwork. And this was one that like they could have given it to me very easily. But again, both options were going to have their pros and cons. Getting a puppy, again, starting over, and then getting a rescue, other issues, whatever. So I was wishy-washy on which one of those two I wanted, and I was wishy-washy on whether I could handle it or not. And then quite recently, I decided, you know what, like, again, I desire this, so I want to experience this. So this is going to work out, or there's going to be a solution to it. But I want it. I want the second dog. That's what I want to experience, and that's what I'm getting. And I stopped being wishy-washy. And on Sunday, the breeder that I was initially getting the puppy from, she actually posted that there were some puppies like up north, and I live up north, so I was like, wait a minute, like near me, because the breeder's actually far away from me, and so these puppies happen to be like a couple states away, in a state that I have a cousin. This cousin has been wanting to like come visit me for months.
Wow.
So as soon as like everything clicked, like as soon as she told me where the puppies were, I was like, yep, this is my bridge of incidents right here. Like, this is it. Also, the puppy was the exact color I wanted. And I knew in that moment, I was like, this is my manifestation unfolding. So I called my cousin and I was like, hey, this was on Sunday. And I called her and I was like, hey, so this puppy became available today. You know how you wanted to visit me? Like, what are you doing today? Nothing. Can you come with the puppy? So that same day, so the same day the dog was posted, the same day my cousin called, like said she could come, the same day she literally went and got the puppy, which was, by the way, on her way to my house.
Oh my gosh.
She picks up the puppy. I got the puppy that same day. It all lined up, and it was very much the bridge of incidents that I was waiting for. But I had to decide that that's what I truly wanted. I couldn't go back and forth as to, like, is it gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Do I really want this? Do I not? No, I wanted it. At least I wanted it in that moment. And so here we are. And actually, things have been going wonderful. It's going even better than expected. The dogs get along great. My other dog is like now tired a lot because they're always playing, which is what I wanted. They're getting along even better than I could have imagined.
That's amazing. I love that. And you're right, because you stopped that wishy-washy, decided what you wanted. You had the clarity. Yeah, and you had the clarity, and that's how things unfold, you guys, is, you know, she's right, that wishy-washy behavior going back and forth, we all do it sometimes, but it's stopping that wishy-washy and saying, what do I clearly want? And then sticking with that. Aww. So cute, adorable.
Also, with this puppy's very calm, and that was part of my intentions. My other dog is not calm at all, so I was like, I want to manifest the opposite. And she has the best temperament. Everyone that's met her has been like, is she real? Like, where'd you get this dog from? And in my head, I'm like, from my head, because
yes,
I created her.
We consciously created it.
But here she is.
Aw, she's so adorable.
This is her most of the time, and it's everything. We create everything. We have to decide what we want, and we have to stick with it.
Absolutely. And so yeah, I love that. And that was a bonus to see that cute little doggy. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for bringing her on. And she's just going about, I mean, puppies don't normally do that. Just laying down, relax, and chill. That's hilarious. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Karen, for being here. And thanks for sharing your story and all your knowledge with us. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Thanks, guys.
Bye.